Hey y'all, welcome to What I Learned Today. So I was outside today and I was thinking about motivation because I had listened to the previous episode and I realized that for me, my core motivation, right, which just drives me, is that I want God to say to me, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." Like that's what I live for. That's that's been long standing for me. And that drives me in everything that I do. That is my core motivation. So I encourage you to identify what your core motivation is. In the other episode on motivation, I talked about internal versus external motivation, and those are parts of motivation. And so, really, right, there's layers to motivation, and there's drivers of motivation. And sometimes it's a deadline, sometimes it's a goal, sometimes it's an event, right? There's different reasons for you to be motivated to accomplish something. But then I think, and who knows, I'll come back and do another one because this is what I learned today. We'll know what I didn't learn tomorrow. But my core motivation is those are the words that I want to hear from God. And so when I'm given ideas, people often ask me, how is it that I accomplish as much as I do? I move from a thought or an inspired place of inspiration to action. I call it inspired action, um, and to get it done. Because if this is something that I feel as though God has called me to do, then I'm going to do it. Because what I don't want, I don't know what that day or moment looks like when I am standing before God and God says, "Did you do what I asked? When I put this before you, did you accomplish it? Accomplish it, excuse me." I don't ever want my answer to be no. Sometimes I look at it as like an Abel mindset. So in the Old Testament, there's the story of Cain and Abel, and God asked for your best, right? Give me 10% of your best. And so Abel brought forth his best and gave it to God, and Cain did not. And so for me, I call it an able mindset. Am I always bringing forth my best? Right? Again, this is a motivator. I want to have, keep, and maintain an able mindset. And I think it's ironic that his name is Abel because, right, am I able to do it? Am I able to give my best? Am I able to give the 10% that's asked of me? And the answer is yes. And so then the question comes when an assignment, when a thought, when I'm motivated to do something, have I given my best? And my best will change based on the day and my skill set, right? My best when I'm not feeling well does not look the same as my best when I am feeling well. My best when I only have a piece of information, it's the best that I can do with what I have is going to look different than the best that I can do when I have more. But I still give my best at the time that I have it instead of waiting for more. So, again, my motivation is to make sure that I'm doing the best that I can when I am directed to do so. And back to core motivation, because I want to be able to answer that question when it becomes to me and God, and He says, "Did you do X, Y, and Z?" My answer will be, "Yes, God, I did it." All right. So now, what is your core motivation? Like I said, for me, I want to hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant." That's my core motivation. So I hope that helps you get some clarity so that you can identify what your core motivation is. It doesn't have to be that. It can be something different. It may be the same. It may be similar, but just find out what your core motivation is. And for me, just to highlight it again, that core motivation overrides everything. So sometimes, like, I want to get up and exercise because I have a project to do and I know I'm going to be on camera and I want to look a certain way. I want to wear a certain outfit. That's okay, right? There's a level of motivation there, but then what is underneath and pushing all of that is, when God says, "Did you give your best? Did you show up the best?" And I'll be like, "Dang, I didn't. Let me buckle down. Let me study a little bit more. Let me practice a little bit more. Let me complete this assignment." Because there's also the eagerness and the excitement on my part that I know when those assignments, whatever the initial assignments are, that most likely there's going to be an assignment that comes afterwards, that I'm excited to do as well. So, like my books, The Adventures of Froggy T and Bunny, A Hip Hop Tale, the first book was done. And then it was like, then the next book came, then the next book came, and they kept coming. And each book was more exciting, more enjoyable. Going through the process was a lot of fun. So that became a motivation because it was like, oh, what's going to come next? Okay, well, I did this. Well, let's see what'll rise up after this. Um, Again, that's motivation for me. So I'm just sharing that I've learned I have different types of motivation. And because I'm aware of it, then I can tap into those different levels of motivation. And when I really, really, really need to be motivated because the other ones aren't working, then I go to that core motivation, which again is what y'all already know. Well done, my good, my and faithful servant. I want to be able to answer that. I want to be able to receive that. And when asked, did I do everything that I could do when I was supposed to do it? I want to be able to answer that honestly and say, yes, God, I did. All right. I hope that helps. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.